Had me the right place, the right time, with the right commitment. I was president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And then we had agreed that, and I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed, after they signed their names to a petition, that we were going to march as a teacher group. And so on January 22nd, we met at Clark Elementary School here, which was the school where I attended the first grade through the sixth grade. We met upstairs, and we marched up a file. My partner was my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade science teacher. His name was Mr. A.J. Durgan. He was the incoming president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And we led that march, teachers, for the first time in the United States, coming down the steps of Clark Elementary School, down Lawn Street, down to Alabama Avenue, down to the courthouse. Teachers, for the first time. Getting down to the county courthouse, that was standing next to the steps, the superintendent of education, the chairman of the board of education, to persuade me, because I was a teacher, to take the teachers back to the school because we had made a point, and that no longer should we try to pursue that right from that particular point. And I told them we had a right to be at the county courthouse. It was our courthouse. We were not backing down from our right to be there. And I asked the superintendent and the chairman of the board, who signed my check, to step aside. We went up those steps. Jim Clark had his deputies across the door, and he indicated that we were trying to make a mockery out of his courthouse. And we indicated to him that that was our courthouse also. He gave us 1 minute to move off of those steps. At the expiration of that minute, he took the billy club and jabbed us down the steps on the sidewalk. And my partner, Mr. A.J. Durgan, who, as I said, was my teacher, he was not quite used to that stuff like I was. And he asked me on the ground, he said, "What shall we do?" I said, "We are going back." He said, Yeah. And so we went back the second time. We jabbed down the steps after a minute, and he asked me the same question. I gave him the same answer, and he gave me the same response. The third time, when I really was trying to get all the teachers arrested, because teachers were not aware of the tremendous influence. They were the largest black professional group here in Dallas County. And so after going back the third time, he said, "If you don't get off these steps, Jim Clark," said, "we're going to arrest you." I said to myself, "Exactly what I want you to do." And so after about 45 seconds, before that minute expired, someone on the inside of the courthouse came and pulled him on the inside of the courthouse door and said, I didn't go in there with him, but I can imagine what they told him. For goodness sake, don't arrest those teachers.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Man, it's been a long time coming. You are now tuned in to the Lineage Podcast. With your hosts MJ Reese and Alan Reese.
What's going on?
We are the grandsons of the civil rights icon, Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. I know a few people has been following us. Man, we started the podcast in 2019, and we got a little bit more fire with us this time. We was compelled to come back and really talk about Granddad and talk about some things that a lot of people don't know about the Selma movement, and kind of have a different approach. So sit back, relax. You're about to learn. You're about to learn, be entertained, and feel free to join the discussion. You can chat on YouTube, Facebook. We got Instagram going, or wherever you are. You can chat with us, talk with us. If you have some information that we may not know, or you want to put your 2 or 3 cents in to the conversation, man, feel free. Before we get into the topic, let me put the topic up here while I'm talking. We have a very good, Juneteenth is coming up. Juneteenth celebration.
That's right.
So we want everybody need to be participating in some type of festival coming up. But what we do, go ahead, bro.
Let me say, once you explain to me what Juneteenth is.
I'll let you do that.
Well, what Juneteenth is, I would love to do that. What Juneteenth is, man, we celebrate this. When the Emancipation Proclamation was passed, man, the last slaves in Texas, man, the Confederate States wanted, the deal was they wanted one more year of free labor from black people who were slaves. Mm-hmm. And so June 19th is when those slaves found out that they were free. So that's when the last slaves were free out of slavery on June the 19th, 1965. Yeah. So this is why we celebrate Juneteenth. Yeah. I hate how the nation, when they passed it as a national holiday, how they have allowed for the celebration of Juneteenth to get into the corporations and out of the hands of the black people of America, entrepreneurs with the apparel company. Now you got Walmart, Target, and all those corporations which benefit from slavery, now benefiting from Juneteenth because it's a national holiday. So I just want to tell the people, if you're listening, man, make sure that you buy your apparel for Juneteenth if you celebrate it from a black-owned apparel business. If you're not, man, something wrong with you.
There you go.
I just want to go and put that out there, There's a little education on that.
There you go. We always gonna do that. Now, we do have an event that we will be at, and we're gonna say our cousin is heading this. LaDonna Hampton, this is the 4th annual one. So let me put this up. This is the 4th annual Juneteenth Freedom Celebration.
That's right.
It's at 155 Lee Street, Jonesboro, Georgia, 30236. It starts at 2 p.m., ends at 8 p.m. It says, we gather to reflect on the beautiful legacy of African-American history and the collective history across the nation. At this event, we rejoice in celebration of past accomplishments and manifest future success. Our theme is educating, encouraging, and growing. So y'all, please make sure y'all support. It's on the south side in Jonesboro. This is the 4th annual one. LaDonna Hampton, she does a great job. As you can see, it's a lot of vendors down there. So you're gonna see a lot of different kind of vendors. You will be educated and entertained, man. And concession stand will be out there. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I want to say, man, put the fly back up there. LaDonna is a great tutor. She tutored both of my children.
Facts.
In reading and math. And if you're in the local area of Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, Clayton County, DeKalb County, Henry, Gwinnett, man, hey, it would be smart for you to obtain her services because she does a great job, man. Your children will learn and they will excel in the subjects of reading and math. So get with her. She's a person in her community. She spent most of her life in Clayton County, and now she's making a difference in Clayton County. So we got to salute LaDonna, man. And
that's right.
We love being a part of this event every year, man.
Yeah. That's real. Y'all go check that out. If you want more information, hit us up. People that's on the Instagram, I know y'all can't see everything that's going on, but if you go follow the YouTube channel, the Lineage Podcast, and subscribe.
There you go.
Subscribe. Now, what we're gonna be doing a little different this year, we're gonna be doing giveaways. We got a special segment called Black Track. If you don't know, me and my brother musically inclined. So what I would do is sing an a cappella version of a song that a black artist created, and I want you to finish the phrase that I didn't finish, and you will receive this week's giveaway is a title of Selma Self-Sacrifice, the autobiography of Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese, written by Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese and the lovely Miss Kathy M. Walters. If you don't have that book, you got to get it. Now, let's get to the business. We put a poll out. Who was the MVP of the voting rights movement? We put a poll out. We had 72 people to say who they thought the MVP was. Now, watch how this can be alarming, right?
Because they don't know.
Okay, watch how this could be alarming. Watch this. 50 people said, well, we asked 3, we put 3 people up there.
Okay.
We put the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. we put Congressman John Lewis, and we put the Reverend Dr. F.D. Reese. All these men have succeeded and went on to heaven. But we really thank all three of these men for their accomplishments and everything they did. The tally is 50 people said Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. 12 people said Congressman John Lewis, and 10 people said the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. Now, bro, I'm gonna let you start. Why do you, I'm gonna ask you this: who do you say was the MVP of the voting rights movement, and why?
Well, see, a lot of people gonna say that I'm biased.
Okay, of course.
Because you already know who I am. But I guess, I'm not gonna approach it in an emotional standpoint, in an opinion standpoint. I'm gonna approach it with facts.
Okay.
And with facts, I got to say, Reverend Dr. Frederick Douglass Reese Sr. was the MVP of the voting rights movement. Not the most popular.
Okay, not the most popular.
It's different between most popular and most valuable. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, kind of like we can compare it to the NBA. The face of the NBA is not always the MVP.
That's true.
Yes. Okay.
But F.D. Reese was the MVP because without F.D. Reese, you do not have the team as it was assembled. What I mean by that is that if you read history, we can go back to 1956 when the Dallas County Voters League was revived by Amelia Boynton and Sam Boynton. And then, now we can go into 1961, 62 when F.D. Reese became president. It is a known fact that the movement in Selma began to grow, swell, expand. Let me use those words. Okay. And so he was instrumental in getting Dr. Lafayette and SNCC to Selma, Alabama.
That's right.
Okay. Then John Lewis became leader of that group SNCC, which he was inserted in Alabama. Okay. In 1963, he said that was his first time meeting F.D. Reese when he first came to Selma. At first, Granddaddy was a leader in Selma, but then he became the leader of the movement.
Correct.
And then up under his leadership as the president of Dallas County Voters League, he invited Dr. King to Selma. Okay. So those are facts. Now, and just inviting those people wasn't enough. Okay, then if you go down, he led the first World Teachers March. The reason most people might say teachers. Why are we talking about teachers?
Mama say look straight to the camera. Mama gonna get.
Oh, Mama getting on. Okay. We're talking about teachers. You just looking at my brother.
Right, it's a different vibe now.
It's the camera you look at right there. Okay. Look, when we talk about teachers were the most prominent people in the community during the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So he was the leader of the Selma City Teachers Association. Up under his leadership as president, he led the first World Teachers March. So those are just some of the things. I'm not going to go too deep in it, but those are just scratching the surface. Those are the things scratching the surface, who F.D. Reese was and why he was MVP, because those people would have not been in Selma, Alabama, if it was not for F.D. Reese.
Those are facts. Now, let's do a little something back in facts. Do I have? Now, that's not the one. Let's see. We have this book right here. If you don't have this book, please go get this book. Look at it on my screen.
You might want to take that down.
Let me take that down.
Take it down.
I'm gonna show y'all. Go get this book. This book.
Let me see it over here. Let me pass it.
Yeah, pass it. Pass it over there.
This book he's talking about.
Go get it. I'm gonna tell you the title of it. It is the Selma Campaign, 1963 to 1965. The decisive battle of the Civil Rights Movement. That's right. Shout out to Abina for hooking that up.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it. Now, in this book is what I'm showing you now. Now, I will read what this says. It says, under the leadership of Reverend Frederick Douglass Reese, the movement in Selma was elevated to a new level. Opponents could not deter Reverend Reese, and his boldness excited other local Black adults who subsequently became involved in the local struggle. That's backing your point up. A lot of people, a lot of the times when we hear stories and we see the facts and we read artifacts, it shows that when Granddaddy inserted himself into the movement and inserted himself and was elected as the leader, the whole Selma voting rights movement went to another level. And those are facts. When he came in, the Dallas County Voters League was, what was it? How many people was in Dallas County?
It was less than 100.
Less than 100, and then he grew. It was 2,000. He got to 2,000 over his leadership.
That's right.
So that's backing up when we say who was the MVP of the voting rights movement. Go ahead. I know you're going to say something.
No,
who was the MVP of the voting rights movement? That's something to back it up. Now let's go. Let's hit some other points that a lot of people. Now I'm sure a lot of people have seen this picture right here.
Yes.
This picture here is pretty much a famous picture. It's Dr. King kneeling to your left. In the center is Mr. Ralph David Abernathy, and right here on the right, the man that's holding the hat is none other than Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. They were praying during a march. In the middle of the march, they kneeled and prayed. We'll go through this one right here. It says, you see him right here. This was Ralph Abernathy, Dr. King. This was the high priest. And to the left, you see who that is. That is Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. What about this picture here? This is in the famous Brown Chapel Church. As you can see, he's sitting in the middle pew.
Everybody knows if you're a Baptist.
Everybody know what time that is. You know what the middle seat means. You are the man. You are the man that invited the man. You are the man. You are the man of the whole reason why everything is here. Sitting on the floor is none other than Cheyenne Webb. If y'all don't know who that is, that was she's
Selma Lord Selma.
Yeah, Selma Lord Selma. The youngest, right? Civil rights activist, as you will,
or marcher.
A marcher, right. Let's say that. Here is now. I want to say this. There's been a lot of talk about Granddad. Let me hide this right quick. There was a lot of talk about Granddad that's saying that he was not at Bloody Sunday. Okay, so let's clear that up. Granddad's job. Now, Jose Williams was in charge of the how do I say it? In charge, what the word Granddad used?
Logistics.
The logistics.
Right.
Jose Williams was in charge of the logistics. Now he appointed Granddaddy to stand at a certain point and make sure that the marchers in between them were 3 feet apart, because they had made, you know how they came up with this rule that you had to be a certain, you had to be a certain city ordinance that you had to be a certain feet apart when you were marching. A ridiculous rule, but nevertheless they wanted to abide by, so it wouldn't be no dysfunction in it. But as you can see here, this is before Bloody Sunday.
That's right.
You see John Lewis with the famous book bag on, and you see Reverend Jose Williams. Those are the clothes they had on, as you can see. And to the left, the man with the coat and the hat on is the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. Here's another picture. I don't know exactly what day this was, but this is another point in Selma where Dr. King and Reverend Abernathy and everybody was there. Here's another picture. And is that CT Vivian?
It's
Fred Shuttlesworth. Fred Shuttlesworth.
There you go.
Sorry, Mr. Fred.
Yeah, my phone was out real quick, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn this around so they can see what we're talking about.
Okay, yeah. Fred Shuttlesworth here. Right here was another picture of Dr. King and the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. And let's go to some coloring. We all know, you see that man that's standing next to Miss Coretta Scott King with the folder in his hand. That is the Reverend Dr. Reese. One more picture here will show after Dr. King died. This is the first Jubilee in Selma, Alabama. This was in the 70s. And as you can see, that is Reverend Reese, that's Coretta Scott, and that is Congressman John Lewis. So these are just some things to kind of illustrate in picture form why we feel or we know that Reverend Dr. Frederick Reese was the MVP of the voting rights movement.
That's right.
And my brother always say Dr. King came to Selma January of 1965.
That's right. On March the 15th, Lyndon B. Johnson put it on the House that he won the voting rights bill.
So we're talking 2 months.
And then remember, the Voting Rights Act was passed in August.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. It was the foundation of the Dallas County Voters League. I got to stop looking at my brother. I got to look at this county right here. This county right here. It was and see, when we teach this, people do not know about Dallas County Voters League because you have been bamboozled. And I'm going to go on and say it, man. We're going to stop being sugarcoat stuff. The leaders, and sometimes we as Black people, we tend to keep our own history down.
Facts.
We tend to have the mentality as I got to be the man.
Facts.
I got to sit on the throne by myself. I got to eat and everything else to trigger down.
Mm-hmm.
So what has happened, the leaders of the movement went back when they started doing the Jubilee and they started realizing how important voting was when it comes to, I like to say Black people. I get tired of us putting ourselves in the minority situation because, you saw they took the Asians out the minority situation. They passed that crime bill, but they want to group us in as minorities when they want to say it. So I say it's Black people.
Right.
They understood how important the voting rights movement was. Mm-hmm. So what happened is that people realized they could make money by showing themselves as leaders of the movement.
Facts.
I don't care if they were lying. If you didn't tell the truth, if you didn't tell all the truth, you was lying. So our leaders, when they got in front of the cameras, what they started doing, they started saying, they didn't mention Selma. They said, yeah, we was in Selma. We think everybody Martin Luther King. They'll probably say Abernathy and everybody else.
Right.
And see, what happened was in our curriculum every day in school, as we learned about the SCLC, as we learned about SNCC, they left the Dallas County Voters League out. And I'm here to tell the people, if it was not for the Dallas County Voters League, mm-hmm. you would not have the SCLC. And I'm here to say today, the Dallas County Voters League up under the leadership of F.D. Reese solidified Dr. King's career, legacy. It solidified John Lewis' legacy.
Thanks.
He does not be congressman without Selma Alabama, but when leaders like John Lewis, under God bless his soul, he's gone, but I'm telling the truth today, when they got in front of the camera, they would not tell who were the leaders in Selma, Alabama.
Facts.
And that's the God honest truth.
That's facts.
And today we're gonna start speaking truth, mm-hmm. Stand on the whole truth and nothing but the truth that help us God, mm-hmm. to help us God.
Right.
So what happened was they would not speak about the Dallas County Voters League. Some people say the Courageous Eight. What I'm here to tell you, just as we know, Dr. King was the president of the SCLC, Abernathy was the vice president, and so Joseph B. Larrett and Andrew Young, that was the board of directors of the SCLC, were the Courageous Eight, were the board of directors of the Dallas County Voters League. But they make it seem like it's a bunch of Black folks just freelancing and Selma was now organized. That is a lie from the pit of hell.
And it's like, that's facts, man. And I always say, when we do our tours, man, I always open it up. And I say, if you wanted to make the biggest statement known to mankind in the history of civil rights, why would you go to a town that only 25,000 people were the population? Why would you go to a town, Selma, Alabama, where there's only 25,000 people? The reason you went to Selma, Alabama was because under the leadership of Frederick D. Reese, even though it was a small group of people, when you look at it in the vast light, but the influence and the impact he had on those small group of people, it made a big impact, like it was big numbers, pretty much.
That's right.
So we got to get away from, like bro said, we'll say the SCLC, we'll put that in the headlines. We'll say SNCC, we'll put that in the headlines. But we leave out the Dallas County Voters League.
How disrespectful.
When it comes to voting.
And then how disrespectful for Selma to continue to let these folks come to Selma and not say nothing about the leaders of Selma. Man, we got to stand for truth, man. We got to stop letting people control us. I want all the listeners, y'all hear about Selma, y'all seen the movie, even though it wasn't the truth about Selma.
Yeah, that's coming on later.
You see the presidents come to Selma, Alabama, and you see all this, all they do, they don't go in Selma, they come across the bridge and they stop right there. Mm-hmm. But if you drove in Selma, Alabama, Selma needs money. Selma looked like it looked in 1965. All these leaders that came out of Selma that's in Washington now, what's going on? All the money gets sent to Birmingham, it gets sent to Montgomery. What is it about Selma that you don't want to put the fruit in? But we go and we take these photos out every year at the Jubilee.
Facts.
But they can't mention Amelia Boynton's name. They don't know Marie Foster's name.
Man.
They don't know Mr. Doyle's name. They don't know Reverend Hunter's name. They don't know Mr. Shannon's name. Right. They don't know F.D. Reese's name. They don't know Mr. Gillislee's name. But they come there and act like they know what happened in Salem. But if you don't know those 8 names, you don't know. It's a shame that descendants of John Lewis. It's a shame that Abernathy. It's a shame that these people allow themselves to go in their grave and not tell the truth about our history. This is not white folks. I ain't talking about white folks holding back our history. Mm-hmm. I ain't talking about white racism holding back our history. I'm talking about when we have the control over our history. We choose celebrity. We choose to be a celebrity and make money before we tell the truth. Fact. And these Reese boys gonna tell y'all the truth. I don't care who got something to say. We not bought. You can't buy us. You can't do none of that. We gonna stand on truth. That's how we was raised. Facts. But I'm tired of it. I'm tired of looking at documentaries. I'm tired of looking at TV, and I'm tired of our history as Black people getting told not getting told the right way. Facts. It has to change. Look at us when we go to Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We don't know. You ask Black folks, what about Rosewood, Florida? What about Charleston, South Carolina? What about Atlanta? What about Chicago? What about New Orleans? I'm naming all Black communities. Facts. But we don't know because we as Black people know you still got slave catchers in your neighborhoods and in your faces. Mm-hmm. And it's the truth. We ain't standing for no more. And I don't care. I'm going to mention names. And who don't like it, come talk to me. That's all you got to do. Don't talk to me about your emotions and what you feel. Come to me with facts. You better leave before I say something. I got some facts bagging up what I got to say. Speaking about bagging this up, I'm gonna bring this picture back up. Now we see, like I said, we see Dr. King, mm-hmm. and we see Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese, and we see Mrs. Cheyenne Webb sitting on the floor. Now, what a lot of people don't know now, and I ain't gonna hold back, this church is Brown Chapel. Now, this church is getting a lot of money to keep the upkeep of it. Now, let me say this. A lot of people don't know why Brown Chapel is Brown Chapel. What? Why is Brown Chapel a historical site? Mm-hmm. Why was Brown Chapel the church that they had their meetings at? Mm-hmm. Why was Brown Chapel the church they went to after they got beat in Bloody Sunday? Why did John Lewis lie in state? Why did John Lewis lie in state in Brown Chapel? So important? This is the church that they're in right here, the picture that you see. This is the church they're in. Now, what a lot of people don't know why Brown Chapel is Brown Chapel. Give you some history today, y'all. My grandfather, they had it was against the law for them to congregate. That's right. I read the Selma campaign book. Mm-hmm. What happened was, under the leadership of Frederick D. Reese, the movement started to grow. That's right. The more people started to get behind. That's right. Behind the movement. So what happened was, the counterpart saw that, well, the movement was okay at first, mm-hmm. but now it's getting some traction. They done bumped their head. And then now they're talking about they're going to have mass meetings. So what we're going to do, we're going to intimidate them. We're going to make it illegal for them to have mass meetings. That's right. Stop that. We're going to stop it. Mm-hmm. It's growing. It was cool when it was 5 of them, 10 of them, mm-hmm. 50. Now they got teachers and barbers and beauticians, and they got all these people, all these groups of people that are now behind the movement. We can't let them have mass meetings because we all know when we get together and we start forming a plan, ain't nothing like it. That's right. So what happened, they made it illegal to have mass meetings. So what happened, Granddad had called around to different churches. Tabernacle. There you go. First Baptist. Everybody said no. Right? But the pastor of Brown Chapel mm-hmm. agreed. That's right. To have the mass meetings mm-hmm. in the church after the movement gained traction. Now, why was Brown Chapel the church? No, Martin Luther King didn't call Brown Chapel to the different churches. Mm-hmm. Abernathy didn't. Jose Williams did. John Lewis did. It was Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese that called around to different churches in Selma, Alabama. And that is why now Brown Chapel mm-hmm.
is the historical site it is today.
That's right.
The big part of that is because of Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese.
Mm-hmm.
We don't say that.
We don't say it.
They don't mention that.
So since it started at Brown's Chapel, I ain't gonna
go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
So he orchestrated for a place for them to meet.
Facts.
And the place that they were meeting led them to the bridge.
Facts.
The bridge is a historical site, a world historical site, because of what? The movement.
Correct.
So F.D. Reese was the person that got them to the bridge, to the Brown Chapel.
Correct.
And then, because all that was in Selma up under his leadership, led them to the bridge that every Democratic president goes to when it's time to run.
Facts.
Come, James.
Now we're gonna take a little break. Now, when we come back, we're gonna discuss some of the turmoil that was in the interworkings that a lot of people may not know. It's a little turmoil that was in the interworkings of the movement that a lot of people. We're gonna be back in 30 seconds. Then we're gonna do our black track, and then we're gonna continue to talk. We're back. Now, this is the segment me and my brother implemented in the show this time around. Now, y'all have to comment. We're doing a giveaway right now. We're gonna do the giveaway, then we're gonna talk about the turmoil that they had within the organizations. I'm gonna sing a little bit of the acapella, and I want whoever these are the rules. I'm gonna sing a song. I may skip around on the song. But wherever I stop at, you have to finish the phrase. If you finish the phrase, personally, all you gotta do is hit my inbox, hit the Lineage Podcast inbox, any inbox. Whoever comment first, they get a copy of Selma Self-Sacrifice. I send it to your home straight from Amazon. So that's how this is called Black Track. So whoever gets the phrase when I stop, that's who gets the prize. Let's go. I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do, it's all right with me. Sing along. 'Cause you make me feel so brand new. And I want to spend my life with you. To the chorus. Baby, let's stay together. Loving you whether. Stop. Finish the phrase, you get the book. Before we finish the show, whoever finished the phrase, they get the book. Comment on that. You can be on Instagram, you can be on YouTube, you can be on Facebook. It is a timeline by whoever do it first. You can do it while we go on to the next segment. Whoever does it, they get the book. That's right. Now let's get back to the originally scheduled program.
That's right. The order of service.
The order of service. Let's get back to the order of service. Okay. Now we want to discuss what was the inner.
Times are good or bad, happy or sad.
Jamarco, he's getting the book.
He's getting the book.
Jamarco is getting the book.
Inbox. Well, you already gave me instructions.
Yeah, inbox.
Inbox
Me, inbox Allie, inbox YouTube, Instagram, wherever we at. Inbox Jamarco, you got it. Yeah, he won. Sorry, y'all. He was quick on his feet. He said, "Let me get that book." We got you. Okay, back to the scheduled program. Now, bro, let's discuss. Cause see, I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna say this before we get back into it. One thing about that we have, man, we have actual I don't want to give too much away. We have actual artifacts about the movement. We have. I don't want to say personally what we have. I don't want to give the titles of what we have.
That's right.
But just
always get an enemy.
Yeah. But just know we have things that no one else has, man. We have artifacts that no one else has. When they were going through this whole movement of trying to get the right to vote and everything in Selma, Alabama. We have to put some respect on Selma, Alabama name. We really do, because it has been getting disrespected for far too long.
And they disrespected in March when the vice president came. On top of one of the city council members. Just think about it. They had a place for Montgomery councils to sit.
Uh-huh.
They had places for Birmingham councils to sit.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a place to sell and sell my own house.
It's crazy.
See, this is how history do us.
It's crazy.
You know, once again, it's black folks.
It's crazy.
You ain't white folks, y'all.
It's crazy.
You black people.
It's crazy.
Our own people. I'm looking at our own folks in their face.
Mm-hmm.
And telling them to get stuff right.
Right. That's real.
Come on, man. Get stuff right so our next generation, man, it could be plain and simple for them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop all this pride. I got to be the man. I got to sit up tall.
And I'll say this, that's one thing that Granddad didn't have. He didn't have a bone in his body.
That's right.
That was all about self, man.
Yeah, man.
He was all about the movement, the cause. He was all about the results. Let's
right.
get it done.
Get it done.
As a team, and he knew it took a team, man, to get things done. So, bro, let's talk, because we can go all day about this, but let's talk about, I want you to elaborate on kind of tell the story of when you can kind of add in there how they booed. Because a lot of people think that it was peaches and cream in Selma. When you look at the outcome, you think, oh, everyone came together. Mm-hmm. But we all know anytime you're trying to do something from the ground up, you're going to go through bumps and hurdles. And sometimes those bumps and hurdles are your own people that are disagreeing with how things supposed to be going at a particular time. Mm-hmm. So, Alan, I want you to elaborate on when SNCC came to Selma and all of that, because a lot of people think they just came in 6 months, they had all of this. But it was inner workings going on.
We're going to start back. We're going to start in 1956. Mm-hmm. The Dallas County Voters League was revived at Miss Amelia Boynton's and Sam Boynton's home.
Correct.
Mr. Sam Boynton was the president, and it was revived. What happened was Mr. Sam Boynton got sick of cancer in 1960, and they was inviting SNCC then. SNCC came in 1961, 62. Mr. Sam Boynton had passed away. FB recently become president of Dallas County Voters League to 62, and then what happened was the movement started to swell. Mm-hmm. Now. When SNCC came in 61, 62, SNCC job was to educate the people on how to take the voting rights test.
Facts. White
people were already grandfathered in when they was born to be able to vote. Black people had to take a literacy test to show themselves approved to be able to vote. Mm-hmm. And that's just the bottom line. You already know how white supremacy racism works. Mm-hmm. It's always to allow the people who they consider less than to always be behind the 8 ball. So what happened was they began to work 61, 62, 63. But what happened was when as they was having the mass meetings and they was teaching the illiterate. See, this is the foundation. This is what I'm getting mad at church about today. See, and during that time, I said this a couple of years ago. You can go back on our videos. I said this is why the black church is not the cornerstone of the black community anymore, because we don't have mass meetings to talk about what's going on in our community. Because the word of God that they teach now is not about community, it's about self. My car, my house, my blessing, my graduation. Back in the day, black people moved as a unit. Everybody come read, everybody come write. So black people who were educated cared about the people who couldn't read or write.
That's right. And they all met at the same place.
So they was on code.
Right.
Black people was on code then. We ain't on code no more. So they used the church as a place to teach the literate. But what happened was that when the blacks started to go take a test, white supremacy would change the test. So they would fail the test. Or they have stupid things, man.
How many bubbles in the bar soap?
How many jelly beans in that bar?
Correct.
I mean, in that jar.
That's right.
So what F.D. Reese recognized was it's time to do something different. Okay, y'all got that.
Got
Then you'll run down this boy.
Now, make you tell me what organization was this that was
this
kind of
SNCC. All day, SCLC won now.
Now, if you know, the SNCC was the part of the group that John Lewis.
SNCC was, remember, John Lewis was the president of SNCC.
Of SNCC, okay.
Chairman of SNCC.
There you go. Keep going, bro.
Now, this is where the turmoil came in, and this is what history don't tell you, and this is why they keep F.D. Reese out of history.
Give it to him.
When you look at SNCC history, SNCC was a part of the boys' boycott, but who do you think about Big Brother SCLC?
Facts.
SNCC was a part of, they was a part of the Civil Rights Act in Birmingham, but what do you think of the Martin Luther King and the SCLC?
Fact.
So SNCC was in Selma a few years before the SCLC came, and so when F.D. Reese invited Dr. King and his posse, what they call the SCLC, little brother SNCC looking like, I can't believe this. We trying to get from up under SCLC shadow.
And so it's like every time we get involved in something, here come SCLC.
Here come SCLC.
That's right.
But F.D. Reese understood that Martin Luther King had a certain type of presence because he was known.
So
he was the most popular.
In other words, Martin Luther King today will be compared to, he got 1 million Instagram followers.
He got 100 and some million.
100 some million, okay.
He up there with The Rock.
There you go. Okay, let's go. That's right. Okay.
So he understood that his presence around the nation, because they're gonna keep changing the test, it's not working. So we gotta regroup and approach this differently. And Martin Luther King brought a different presence than what SNCC could bring.
Correct.
And he was right. So what happened was some of the Dallas County Voters League and the Courageous Eight did not agree with inviting at the SCLC to sell.
And some of the Dallas County Voters League, it was only 3.
It was only 3 that agreed.
Keep going. I'm gonna get the 3 names.
Get the 3 names, bro.
I'm gonna get the 3. Keep
talking.
But
3 that agreed. And so we're going down in history now. I know this might not be popular, but man, show your kids this YouTube, because this is something valuable. They're not gonna learn in school. So what happened was, like I said, F.D. Reese understood that Martin Luther King was bringing a different presence. There he go. He the floor general. He the floor general. So what happened was he went in Brown's Chapel. Who was Brown Chapel? The church that what? The only church that answered the call to have mass meetings. He went to Brown's Chapel as they booed him. When he said that he's inviting Dr. King to Selma, guess what? Selma, Alabama booed my grandfather. And they said different ministers and leaders came up and they basically fussed at him. And they said he looked. And if you know F.D. Reese, my grandfather was a great listener. He will allow you to finish your sentence and wouldn't say nothing. He would look you straight in your eye.
That's fact.
How I know? Because my grandfather was part of my life for 33 years.
There you go.
So guess what? When they got done booing him, he was sitting in that middle pew, and they said he stood up, and he said that Dr. King would be here in Selma, Alabama. Now let's sing "We Shall Overcome," and that was it.
I'll read this. The Dallas County Voters League was still functioning as an organization, but declined to authorize the president, Reverend Reese, to extend a formal invitation to Reverend King and the SCLC to come to Selma. Reverend Reese, Mr. Doyle, and Mr. Gildersleeve were the members of the Dallas County Voters League and 3 members of the Courageous Eight. They're the one that gave his blessings to the 3 members and the Courageous Eight to initiate a dialogue with Reverend King and the SCLC. The Courageous Eight began negotiating with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in late 1964 to come to Selma at the beginning of the new year.
Look at that. See this stuff you don't learn. This is why you don't know about F.D. Reese.
Right.
You know, this is why you don't know about F.D. Reese, because he went against King. We can talk about that on another segment. And y'all, that's going to behoove you.
No.
Ain't gonna tap on that real quick. But he went against King.
That's right.
He went against SNCC. And he went against his own community.
That's right. That's it. Looking, Mom.
And he went against his own community.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So this is why you don't hear about him, because guess he was blackballed. But guess what? Granddaddy didn't care. He didn't care about all this just getting accolades and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's he needs it.
That's right.
It's right to do it.
Right.
Because he's a part of history.
Right.
And he's a part of history.
Hold on, let me say this. I wish I had a picture of that whole front line. Good God Almighty, I wish I don't have a picture of that, but I'll show this one. In the beginning of this march, As you can see, it's Jose Williams.
That's in Montgomery.
That's when they got to the end. But that Dexter Avenue. But at the beginning of this march, it was Jose Williams was standing on my granddad's left side, and Coretta Scott King was standing on granddad's right side.
He's still right there. He's there right there.
Yeah, you see Jose, you see Miss King, then you see Dr. King. But when they first started the line, Miss Abernathy was beside Dr. King, and then Ralph Abernathy, and then AC Randolph was there. I can't remember. I know Rosa Parks was at the end, but Granddaddy, Reverend Dr. F.D. Reese, was the only one on that line. I want people to just use a little bit of common sense. They told Reverend Reese, you got to get in the front. Why would they do that? He was the only one on that line from Selma, Alabama. The only one on that line from Selma, Alabama. Why do you think that? Why do you think out of all people, the march that grew to 50,000 people, why do you think out of all people, he had to be on the front line and was the only one from Selma? That in itself is a statement.
Yeah.
Because for you to come in my house, I got to invite you.
That's right. Well, King already said he wasn't going nowhere that he wasn't invited. The movement made it seem like they just showed up.
King said he wasn't going nowhere unless he was invited. I forgot who he sent to Selma before he came to see.
They made it seem like he just showed up.
No. He sent someone to Selma. I had a name for you next week. I want to say it was Andrew Young. No,
and pull that picture back up. It's a valuable lesson in that picture. Pull that picture back up. I'm gonna show y'all something. If you look in this picture, where F.D. Reese is holding, he's holding Dr. King's speech that he made in Montgomery at the Capitol State, at the Capitol. And the name of that speech was How Long, Not Long. This is a man.
You go look it up.
This is a man in just right in your face that you have been talked about on purpose by other black leaders, not white supremacy. See, I'm pounding that in us as black people because we as black people got to stand on our own history. We got to stop letting other black people who still has the mentality of slave catchers monetize, make money on our own history when they don't want to tell the truth. We have to stand on truth. Black people got to start being on code. And I know this might be off subject, but black people need to be on code. Look again. We kill each other in our neighborhoods, but look what happened with the young man in Florida, with the two white men who threw the rocks and stuff in his Mercedes. Black folks are on code. Where the streets at?
Right.
Where they at?
Right.
Well, on the street, we can kill each other. We can go by each other's homes and shoot up our people that look like us. But then when these racist white folks come after us and kill our folks, what we ride? Black folks got to start being on code. We got to change people's mentality, let them know, look, we not playing. You mess with ours, we're gonna come mess with you. Back in the day, even though they were not violent, my granddad was, but they were on code. They had each other's back. That's fact. Even Malcolm X came to Selma, Alabama, on February, I think it was the 25th. He came to Selma. Martin Luther King and my granddad was locked up. He spoke at Brown's Chapel. See, history won't tell you this.
Won't tell you that.
Malcolm X spoke at Brown's Chapel in 1965, and guess what he said? He told Coretta Scott King, I came to Selma to tell my brother, look, I got his back, and if he need me, I'm here. He knew, hey, we're going to be on code because we are fighting the same people. We got the same objective. We just got different mindsets how it should be done, but we got the same objective.
That's right. That's real. That's real.
Come on.
what I would submit, to get back directly to the topic, how dare you not say Frederick D. Reese was the MVP of the voting rights movement?
Learn the history.
If he was let's just do a little recap. We got 9 minutes. Let's do a little recap. If he was the man, boy, if he was the man that got sneaked there.
That's right. Dr. Lafayette still living. Speak up. He'll tell you. He should tell you.
If he was the
Call
man
Dr.
that got
Lafayette
sneaked
right
there.
now. He'll tell you. Reverend Reese, Google him. Is on this Wikipedia that Reverend Reese persuaded him to come to Selma. Let's speak up to him. Names.
And it's also on Granddad's Wikipedia what John Luke said when I first met the Reverend Reese, he was more of the local leader. Then he became the leader of the whole movement.
That's right.
Look on F.D. Reese Wikipedia, scroll down to the Selma movement, scroll down at the bottom in the last passage in the paragraph, and you'll read those exact words.
That's true.
So what I'm saying is, if he was the reason SNCC was there, he already had the local people ready to move with him. He had already did the Teachers March. Now he got SNCC there first.
Then Dr. King came.
Dr. King came and spoke in the early of January.
That's right.
Then January 22nd,
the Teachers March.
The Teachers March.
And Dr. King got a telegram. Dr. King said that Reverend you took us miles down the road.
Got that? Now.
Come on, man.
Just show y'all. Then he was the reason Dr. King was there.
That's right.
Then check this out. This is later on. When he went against his own people to bring Dr. King there. Now later on, probably about 2 episodes from this week, we'll talk about how even after he got Dr. King there and they booed him, when him and Dr. King had a disagreement, he stood behind Selma. The same people that booed him. He had their back. Now watch this. When he didn't have to have their back. He could have took the accolades and ran.
He could have went to Atlanta.
He could have went
and
to
did
Atlanta.
the same thing they did.
He could have did the same thing John Lewis. If my granddad would left Selma, Alabama and moved to Atlanta, he would have been a Congress.
He could have went to Birmingham.
He was already a city council in Selma for 12 years.
Yeah, he could have ran for representative.
Anything.
He could have went and did speeches, went all the way around the world and said what he did.
Right.
And tell lies.
He didn't do that, y'all. He was unwavering. So what I'm saying is, what I would say is, and this is for people that's watching, sometimes we got to dig a little deep, man. We dig a little deep in everything else, man. I'm gonna be honest. We know about young Thug and the case. We know about this social media. We know about this lady that said this went viral. We know about everything else, right? But then when it comes to our own history, we don't teach our kids to dive a little bit deeper.
I'm gonna tell you why, bro.
Go ahead.
I gotta tell you why.
Yeah.
When you say that, you're right. But we see what Young Thug doing. But when it comes to our history, our own black people, they made it cloudy.
Facts.
They done told lies.
Facts.
It's our own people.
Facts.
Our own people for money. See, you can't. This is why Frederick Douglass. I'm still waiting for our generations, for the next generation, or my generation, or generation, you know what I mean, or my kids' generation, to prove Frederick Douglass wrong. Frederick Douglass has still been right since he's been in his grave. He said it's better to train children than fix broken men. Our history is broken. And it's hard to get people to realize that they have been lied to. It's hard. It's difficult. But see, I can go talk to schools and tell these kids the truth, and they remember F.D. Reese. But see, we've been so emotionally connected to the movement that we don't think these people were lied to.
Right. And they have. And that's the thing. When I do this, and people say, hold up now, MJ. What is this? What is this now? This man being hidden in plain sight.
Right. Hidden in plain sight. He been Casper, but you can see him.
You can see him. Like he hidden in plain sight. So why is it this man in the hat that's appearing in all these pictures, and he has these artifacts, and you can go to different people's Wikipedia and see his name here in this book, front to back. My granddad is mentioned over 50 times. Over 50 times. In every, it's about 30 different people. They had their own story and testimony or their own view of the movement through their own eyes. And he is mentioned in every last one of their stories as the leader.
And then the people who want to say his name
in public
have mentioned him
privately.
We have
letters. I'll tell one. I'll tell this one.
Tell it.
We have a letter from Mr. John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis, rest in peace. Thank you for the work you did. That said, Dr. Reese, this nation would not be the same without you.
The young people that's in politics.
The young people. I have my political seat because of you.
But when we got
in front of cameras, we didn't say that. When we did interviews, we didn't say that. I want people to understand what's going on. You got to understand what's going on, man. And it's just not us just saying, "Oh, this our granddad." So they gonna say that. Listen, man. Come holler at us. We'll show you some stuff that you have never seen. Go ahead, bro. I know you
I
about it.
just and what's the fire in us is, you know, ask yourself this. See, I was in the 5th grade at Seagull Elementary in Ellenwood, Georgia.
Yeah, tell the story before we go.
I gotta tell this story, man.
Right.
5th grade, Ellenwood, Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
that I love so much, and I still stay in this community today.
Yeah.
We was working on civil rights, and I saw my granddad's picture without a name.
Mm-hmm.
Without a name. And that right there put a fire in me, because when I told my classmates, I said, this is my grandfather, no one believed me. No one believed me. And so I went home and I told my parents about what happened at school. And they told me, well, call your granddad. I got on the phone, I dialed 334-874-4385. That's the same number Dr. King called the house, same number today at my grandparents' home. I called that number and I said, and my grandma picked up the phone, hello, and I told my grandmother about the story. I said, is Granddad home? She said, yeah, hold the phone. Granddad got on the phone and said, this is F.D. Reese. That's how you always answer the phone. And I told my grandfather what happened. And I said, Granddad, I want you to come to Atlanta, but I wanted him to come that next day. He couldn't do that. And he said, well, give your teacher my phone number, and I did. And they worked it out that he got his schedule right, and they put all the 6th graders. This when elementary had 6th graders.
Yeah.
All the 6th grade in the music room in City Boy Elementary. My classmates watching, they know what I'm talking about. They put us all in the music room, and Mr. King was the music teacher. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather walked in, his face was distinctive. It's just like his face in the picture. And everybody went crazy.
What picture was it, bro?
Huh?
Do you remember what picture was?
Was it was a front line picture.
Okay.
No? Go to the front line.
We'll go.
It wasn't that one, but it's the other one.
It wasn't this one, but it was the black and white one.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that day, even as a young child, every time I did a project on history, I did it on my grandfather. Mm-hmm. Because it hurts. Because, you know, it's already hard being a black man in America. But what really hurts is that when your own people that look like you try to not put respect on your name.
That was a fact.
When your own people hide you and don't speak about the things that you did. It's very important for black people to speak loud about what they have contributed to America. Because America has been a peculiar place for black people. And for us, the audacity of black folks to not tell and holler loud of what your brother and sister has contributed to history. It is a shame. Mm-hmm. And in this day in my life, in this day, I've decided that won't happen. I don't care what family got something to say. I don't care who got something to say, who like it or not, because we're not riding off emotions. We got facts behind us like the word of God. When God said he wrote the word, and it's plain and simple. He wrote it and said, put your vision down, make it plain and simple. That's right. He put his word in so we can read it. So if I got facts back here that shows that I'm truthful, well, I don't care who got to say. I don't care if Martin Luther King was here. I said, well, King, you're wrong. That's because right. This is what you said on April the 15th, 1965. It is written. Mm-hmm. This is what you said and on January the 23rd, it is written. So even if Dr. King was here, I said the same thing. Right. But what I would say, y'all keep watching. Keep watching this because we've been doing a lot of things that it's gonna pay off and it's paying off. Mm-hmm. We ain't gonna stop. Yeah. Because the truth got to be told, man.
Facts, truth got to be told. And we're gonna end on that note. But next week, I'm gonna tell y'all, man, we're gonna be in court next week. Talk about the betrayal. I don't know if y'all seen that somewhat of a video we put together.
Chestnut gave
the audio. J.L. Chestnut, we're gonna put some respect on his name next week. Y'all gonna learn about a lawyer that y'all really ain't really learned about who's behind, who was representing, when the whole Selma voting rights movement was going on. But next week, we're gonna talk about the betrayal, and we're gonna show y'all a court case that my granddad had to go through. And we're gonna kind of put all the pieces of the puzzle together. See, if y'all stay with us, y'all gonna really learn. You're gonna really learn the back end and the behind the scenes, things that you never knew that was going on in Selma, Alabama with the voting rights movement. So y'all tune in next week, man. We appreciate y'all rocking with us, man. We're gonna keep going and keep going, keep telling the truth. Put some respect on Selma's name and Frederick D. Reese's name, Courageous 8, all of them. So we're gonna talk about all of them coming up. Go ahead.
I got one more thing to say. You know, I can be long-winded sometimes, but anybody who's an entrepreneur, has his own business, who's in school trying to keep pushing, and it's hard, keep grinding. Me and my brother Brent, we've been on this journey 5 years. 5 years, man. And every day that God has made, we've done something to help us push forward.
Every day.
Keep pushing. I learned this. When you're in a situation like us, if it's in school, entrepreneurship, whatever you're trying to do, in life is like the game of baseball. It's not like football because you don't always have 11 riding with you. And it's not like basketball. You don't always have 5 riding with you. If you know baseball is 1 against 9. 1 against 9. When that pitcher throw the ball, you don't know what life gonna throw at you. But guess what? You got to swing. You can't keep looking at strikes. You can't keep looking at balls. Sometimes you might think you hit a home run. It go 5. Sometimes you might have thought you hit a home run. Guess what? The outfielder catch it. Life catch it. And you got to start back over at the plate. Ready to hit again. You on deck. Keep pushing because life is like baseball. The outfield, procrastination. Take procrastination out your mindset. Take laziness out your mindset. Get up every morning. I don't know what you believe in, but I believe in the Almighty God. I get up and I pray, and I thank God for waking me up, and I thank you for my kids and my family every morning. But you got to keep pushing. Don't give up on life. Because LB Reese used to tell us this. As a young child, I give you a gem my granddad used to tell us. He said, guess what? Don't ever throw in the towel. Don't ever give up. He said, out there every night, there comes a day. Now, guess what? At 37, I'll be 37 years old. I never learned. I never understood it until I became have a family of my own. And life hit me. And guess what? I couldn't give up during the night. Keep pushing. Someone needs to hear that every day. Every week when I get on this, I'm going to tell you the same thing. Because someone needs to hear keep pushing. Don't give up on the towel. Because guess what? Right behind that door is your blessing. Right behind that door is what you've been waiting on. If the legacy of FB Reese don't show you that, show you anything, it shows you that.
That's facts. Because
guess what? The people, the racism tried to bomb his house. They threw things in the home. They just tried to take him out. He kept pushing.
That's right, man.
That's facts. And every night, depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, I speak against all that. Bipolarism, I speak against all that.
Yeah.
I speak against it. You can conquer all that.
There you go.
Keep pushing. I know we passed our time, but I just feel like that needs to be said. Keep pushing. I don't care what you're doing. Don't give up on your family. It's someone your child needs for you to keep pushing. It's someone that's connected to you that you need to keep pushing. And don't give up.
That's right.
That's the truth. So I'm going to leave you with that today. After every night, there comes a day. And I don't care how long that night lasts. They going to break.
They going to break.
Best believe that.
You can't give up, can't throw in the time. Man, he used to always say that. I promise you, I relate to that thing. So
that man said so much.
And I'm gonna say this: we got something coming up. I see Mark on, and I forgot how we were supposed to say it. We gonna some volunteers with. It's a history. Good God Almighty! I'm gonna know it next week. I'm gonna know it next week. I'm gonna know better next week. But we gonna need some volunteers and something special that we got going on. So keep that in your minds and hearts. But until next week, we thank y'all for rocking with the Lineage Podcast, and we'll see y'all next week.
In January the 22nd, I guess the Lord had me in the right place, the right time, with the right commitment. I was president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And then we had agreed that, and I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teacher's march.